Hey, what's up, Geekscapists? Welcome to a brand new Geekscape podcast. I'm your host, Jonathan London, and if this is your first Geekscape, well, what I like to do is I like to delve into the world of pop culture, movies, video games, comics. What does it mean to be a geek? And I'm your guide to that. Sometimes I have a co-host, I do today, and a guest, I also do today. Spoilers. And we talk to the guests about maybe they're an actor from a TV show, or maybe they're a comic book creator, or somebody who works in video games. Today we've got my good friend Zach Schleien. He is the co-founder and CEO of a dating app. And that may sound new for you Geekscapists, but I've got an agenda. And the agenda is this. In my mission of geek self-improvement and community improvement, I think that we should, if we're single, try some dating this Valentine's Day. And you might be watching this and be like, whoa. I skip Valentine's Day, to which I tell you, what if you don't skip Valentine's Day this week and Geekscape actually helps you do a little bit of dating? Would you be into that? Well, let's talk about it. Zach's developed an app called FilterOff, and the idea behind the app is that it takes, online dating using an app, and instead of swiping left or right and just looking at people's pictures, you might get catfished that way. You actually have to video chat with the person once you match, which is cool because you can figure out whether or not you're being catfished or be murdered out in the woods somehow. So we're going to get to Zach and get that going. Derek Crandevelt's already super stoked. He says, hashtag marry Matt Kelly. Well, Matt Kelly's on the show, and we're going to have him as a grand prize for anybody who goes into the speed dating here with, just kidding. I do want Matt to do the speed dating. We will talk to Matt about his comfort level on that one. But Christopher Robinson, he's stoked. He says, let's mingle. All right. If you're single and ready to mingle, let's do it. First, though, let's bring Katie on and see how she's doing. This is my co-host, Katie Elsesser. Katie, how you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm wearing a duck shirt and I'm doing well.
What's up with a duck shirt, kid? And remember, Katie, I know you're my new co-host, but our audience primarily is still a podcast
That's
audience.
why I had to give the visual within the first description so they could be shocked as well.
Katie, let them taste the duck shirt. Like, I want you to describe the duck shirt to the point where our audio listeners can see it for themselves. Like, what? Tell them about the duck shirt. You can't just say it's a duck shirt. They might think it has Donald Duck on it.
So about a year and a half ago, I walked into a TJ Maxx. In the TJ Maxx is a lot of difficult to look at clothing, except for this very bright rubber ducky shirt that is just a full pattern all across my chest and down my valleys and thing. Well, it's just a shirt. It is a crew neck. Not a V-neck, which I think is a little bit more comfortable personally. I wish I knew how to cut that, but it's a crew neck, so it's choking me. And it's got rubber duckies on it. Anyway, that's my shirt.
Okay. Thank you for getting us there. Geekscape podcast listeners, my apologies. I'm training her as fast as possible, but understand that Katie is an actress. She works in a visual medium. And this past weekend, she was on set in Vegas where she had a starring role in something I don't think she can talk about. But she's going to get too big for her britches around here. So expect Inside Thought to be my co-host very soon. Katie, how'd it go this weekend in Vegas? You were on set?
Dude, it was so much fun. It's definitely different to travel and shoot and quarantine at the same time. That's a very weird process. Because usually if I travel, I like to go and explore the town and like try new things. But I stayed at a very interesting hotel that had a Hooters at the bottom, and I ate Hooters every single day for dinner. And apparently my boyfriend's not wrong, guys. The chicken is good. The chicken's actually very good. And I was kind of shocked by that. And my last night, I'm sorry, I'm just talking about the Hooters.
Wait, experience. Katie, hold up. You've never been to Hooters?
No, I had no reason
I know, but we had, when my brother was in the WWE, we would go to Hooters to watch his pay-per-views. And that is why we would go to Hooters, because they always had pro wrestling pay-per-views, because it's Hooters.
That makes sense.
We ended up like becoming sort of like, if there was a pay-per-view like once every 2 months, we would go to Hooters and go there. And Derek Cranevelt in Canada says, I've never been to Hooters. Well, Derek, you need to move because Canada is a backwards planet. You
I
gotta
don't know
try.
about that.
And then Derek, he also said John wouldn't take me. Okay, let's do this.
Oh, interesting.
Comic-Con July 2021. I hope that we're back in business. I hope that there's a vaccine that we all have and that we're back in San Diego. There's a Hooters in the Gaslamp district. Derek, if we're back at Comic-Con 2021, I will take you to Hooters and we will report back to the Geekscapists about our experience. Okay?
And I will be there with you having myself a buffalo chicken sandwich with a side salad because it was not
Katie.
bad.
We're going to get you a job at Hooters. So
Ooh, I don't know about
you're
that.
going to go from having a duck shirt to having an owl shirt.
Dude, you have no idea how uncomfortably awkward I would be in that situation. This is why I book mostly comedy, because anytime someone's like, hey, Katie, be sexy, and then I do the weirdest shit because I'm like, oh, this is sexy, right? And I just T-Rex cross across your frame of reference.
Yeah.
It's bad. It's bad news, but
I believe in you if you believe in you.
I do.
The actual acting, though, that was good.
The actual act, oh my gosh, it was so fun. I can't talk specifically about like what the project is until it's totally released. But I had a guest star, not a starring role, just a guest star role.
I know. I just like talking you up.
I dig it. I love it. It's very positive, and I dig it. But I got to dress up basically like a Vegas version of Brienne of Tarth and run around the desert with a sword, which was actually my master sword that I have hanging up on the wall from Legend of Zelda.
You don't have to, this is Geekscape. You don't have to explain those things to us.
I know, but sometimes I don't. It's just habit and being a girl. Anyway, then I also had special effects makeup, which was just so gross and so cool. Like I had like an allergic reaction. I can say that. I know that. And I just had these like pock marks with like this latex icky stuff. It was so cool, and I was so grossed out. Like I looked bad, and it looked really real too because it was kind of subtle, and I had it across my face. It's awesome and disgusting, and that's all I ever want to do. I just want to be covered in boils and be on camera and do silly things.
We'll skip that vaccine, and I think you'll be okay. Andy Rattinger says, that chicken is indeed good. To which our friend Quentin Bailey says, I didn't know they had chicken. Yes, they do indeed have chicken, and Katie will be there with us. Hopefully, San Diego Comic-Con 2021. When we go to Derek's first Hooter outing, so that'll be fun.
Listen, I will live stream it if we end up getting me to be a Hooters waitress. That will be a whole thing.
Well, it's either you or it's going to be our own favorite test subject here on Geekscape. That's Matt Kelly.
Here comes Matthew Kelly, and he's here to party. He's also been to Hooters. His name is Matthew Kelly. How you doing?
I got so happy for that song, and then I got real sad in the middle.
Matt, please. Matt runs the Geekscape network here, and what the fuck? No, Matt runs the Geekscape network, and he always has the utmost professionalism when he's on one of the other shows, moderating one of the other shows, and then he busts out on the flagship show and drops that. Thank you, Matt.
Hashtag King Matt. Hashtag Matt.
Oh my gosh, Matt, are you like becoming a character now? This is amazing.
Not only is he becoming a character, but I think we could, I don't know if Matt, you want to announce you and Chris of the Geekscape One Hit Thunder podcast starting your own endeavor. They are becoming podcast
consultants,
and they're starting a company called We Know Podcasts. And Matt went so far as to just in the advertisement for that you'll hear on a future episode of Geekscape, he just said, "This is Matt Kelly, the what of the Geekscape network?
Producer and head of content for the Geekscape network," which is only sort of a lie. Because I do produce a bunch of shows, and I am the head of the content. So.
You know what, Matt? I'm okay with it. What I think I'm taking umbrage with is the fact that as head of the Geekscape network, I wasn't consulted on your new title at all before it became an advertisement that is going to go on all the Geekscape shows. So pat yourself on the back, and you're paying for Hooters. Here's Matt's Hooters order. Derek says, 1 plain cheeseburger with no condiments, 1 glass of 2% milk.
anybody who's in the comments who knows me knows how accurate that is. Depressingly.
Yeah, you basically order whatever the kids from the Sandlot would eat. That's your diet. Is like, what would an 8-year-old get at Hooters, and that is your deal.
Not even the chicken tendies.
James Chianese in San Diego says it's a coup. Those are it's a trend. Matt Kelly is trying to storm the Capitol steps of the Geekscape network right now. And you know what? I'm just going to be like the Capitol Police and be like, come on in and take what you want.
Yeah, but I like to fly, so I'm going to go ahead and not do that.
Okay. And Charlene, who was one of our awesome guests on the live stream special for Big Brothers Big Sisters, says, yay, go Matt. I'm always team Matt,
and I can probably promote this. Charlene, start just typing no with a whole bunch of O's, and I'll stop midway through this. But I am helping Big Brothers Big Sisters again in February with a virtual wine tasting that people can participate in. That will come with some live music as well. So there'll be more information about that as it gets closer to. But date to be determined, Matt, but I believe anybody can join that.
And that's something we're going to promote here on Geekscape. Are we continuing our partnership with Big Brothers Big Sisters?
Yeah, of course.
Of course we are. What kind of piece of shit do you think I am? They got enough of them kids and sisters and stuff. They're good. Those kids are good. They can take care of themselves. We're good. Of course, we're going to continue our partnership with Big Brothers Big Sisters. Of course, we're going to promote it. It's a great cause, and you Geekscapists should support it. It is February 19th. And Chris Paulios, you're the host of the One Hit Thunder podcast, my personal favorite podcast on the Geekscape network, and I do include this one, says, you know what, getting milk at Hooters seems appropriate.
You know, it does. The way you consume it, though, is the question. How would you consume your 2% milk at Hooters, Matt?
A nice tall glass, please.
Okay. All right.
I'm an adult. I take it in a glass.
All right. Well, there you go. Okay.
Look at that tall glass of water. You bring me some. Okay. All right. February 19th is the event that we'll promote for the wine tasting with Matt and the Big Brothers Big Sisters. But we actually have an event coming up before that on February 13th. This is a new thing. We're trying it. My good buddy Zach and I have been putting it together. It is for February 13th, a day before Valentine's, and it is a speed dating event that you can do just on your phone, just like if you would any dating app, except this one is like video conferencing type thing. So you're actually having to talk to the person. You won't get catfished, as I said in the intro. Let's bring Zach on here to talk all about this awesome new app, FilterOff. Zach Schleien, how are you, buddy?
Hey, I'm good. Hey, Jonathan. Hey, Katie. Hey, Matt. Awesome being here.
Hey.
Welcome to Geekscape. How do you like it so far? And where are you on the I've been to Hooters scale?
Well, this is a wild show. I love the energy. I have been to Hooters. It's a fun time. It's a nice view.
Now, what did you have?
Zach's like, I thought we were going to be talking video games.
So hold on a second.
We can get there.
I didn't get to share the craziest Hooters story of the Kelly household, which is that my brother, co-host of the Horror Movie Night podcast, his godfather, only ever showed up on Christmas every year, would drop off one gift every single year, and it was always a Hooters shirt from a different location signed by all of the waitresses for 15 straight years.
That says a lot, Matt.
That's a big story.
Matt, I like your family. Let's keep it that way. Okay, so I met Zach a few days ago on this brand new app called Clubhouse. If you haven't heard of Clubhouse, I don't know where you've been because it's kind of like a thing, isn't it, Zach? Like this Clubhouse thing? How would you describe Clubhouse?
Groups, audio based. You meet really cool people, and yeah, you can learn a lot.
Now, is that one still on all of the podcasting app options, or has that been pulled?
I don't know. Matt's on Clubhouse. We'll get Katie on Clubhouse, but the whole point of it is Geekscape is if you're not familiar with it, it's kind of like a bunch of panel rooms that you can start or join, and then you can talk on panels and gain followers. But you can't chat with anybody in like a messaging kind of thing. You can just kind of follow each other on Instagram or Twitter or whatever and DM each other there. But for the most part in the app, you get on panels and you talk. And I've found it completely addicting and great networking. And I connected with Zach because he's got this app called FilterOff, and I'll have him talk about it. But I just thought Zach was cool, and I thought that it was a great opportunity to put something together for the Geekscapists for Valentine's, where we have y'all speed date and kind of get to know each other, or know some people that you might be attracted to, or just break down those dating barriers and hang out for a fun night of I don't know, socializing. Zach, how would you describe FilterOff? Where did it come from?
So I was just really upset with online dating, just the amount of time it takes going from swiping to then getting a match and then messaging. And then sometimes when you finally meet in person, you don't have like any chemistry whatsoever. So I would ask beforehand my dates if they would be open to video chatting. And I just realized like how efficient it was. And it was just great to be able to connect with them quickly, and you see if you vibe and if you have chemistry. And I wanted to make a video first dating app to cut that whole process and just really focus on the authentic nature of connection.
What were some of the challenges in putting this app together? Because obviously, like, this market, it seems flooded. It seems like there's the Bumbles and the what are some of the? I mean, dude, I don't need those freaking apps. I'm a boring person. They scare the hell out of me. What are that market seems like pretty saturated? What are some of the barriers to putting an app together like that?
Yeah, it is there are a lot of dating apps out there. Most of them are like clones of Tinder, basically, of the swipe right and swipe left. I think so we actually launched before the pandemic, a few months before. But the biggest barrier beforehand was a lot of people just didn't feel comfortable going on video. And then after the pandemic actually started, that's when people started feeling really comfortable. So it's definitely helped in terms of just getting onto video. But another thing is it's really tough from having two people show up, given that people are flaky. So we've added a lot of like cool workflows that just make the experience better. But video is hard. It definitely is a tough thing to do versus just like a quick swipe or right or left. So.
And like, is it successful? Like, are you finding people to like be into it in a way that like, this is it. Are the relationships more successful that you've found on FilterOff than they are on something like a Tinder?
Yeah. So like our match rate is about 5 times higher than like a typical dating app. We've created 4 engagements during the pandemic. We've created over 260,000 dates. We've run like close to like 1,600 virtual speed dating events. So it's been pretty special, and people share stories all the time. And, it's cool to see.
How many murders have occurred?
That's a good question.
We just need to know how many murders.
So luckily 0, and let's definitely keep it that way.
All right.
That's huge.
I would have loved if it was literally any number besides 0. like luckily only 2.
Matt, you're also the co-host of the Horror Movie Night podcast. So we're not here to get you fodder for your podcast, all right, pal? We're here to get people dates that were February 13th. Geekscape is you can actually take part in this if you download the FilterOff app right now, and you can find it by just going to getfilteroff.com, or you can find it in the Apple Marketplace. If you just go and download the app and you load it up, you can actually see that Geekscape has an event for February 13th that is a speed dating event. It'll be a few hours, and we're going to try and get a ton of people to RSVP for the event. You're going to use a special code I think the code that we said, Zach, is Geeks Love 2. Is that right? Like TOO, is that right? I'll put it in an event. I'm going to make an event on Facebook, but I'll double check. I'm double checking right now, Geekscape. Just hang with me real quick. But the whole idea is that we are going to Geeks Love 2, TOO, is the RSVP code. So if you go to this FilterOff app and you load it up and you find the Geekscape event on February 13th, and it's global. You can be on there with people all over the world. And the whole thing is put in Geeks Love TOO, all one word, and RSVP for the event. And who knows who you'll be matched up with. I know that we want to have Matt Kelly be a part of it. Matt
signing up right now.
Matt is signing up for FilterOff. And Matt, you don't have to wait until February 13th to use the app, buddy. If you want to start dating with people right now, like, we're cool. We're just asking that you remain single until February 13th. So you're
Do you
not.
think you can manage that, dude?
I mean, I've managed it for the last 15 years, so I think a couple more weeks is possible.
Now you say that, and that's like the opening line of a freaking rom-com, and it's like, oh, I have to be available to date on FilterOff, but then I just met the love of my life trying to do laundry.
And Matt, 15 years ago, that's the last time you were in a Hooters, right?
Yeah.
I'm
pretty sure I went on a date with the waitress, right?
She
was very nice,
too, buddy. So Quentin Bailey
gave me lots of compliments.
Quentin says, are these actual dates? How would you describe this, Zach? Are these actual dates? I mean, this is speed dating. It's video speed dating. How would you describe this?
Yeah, so once you sign up for the app, create your profile, find the event, RSVP, it'll be added to your calendar. An hour beforehand, you confirm your attendance, and then we start FilterOff will match you with other people in your event, in this specific event, based off age preference and gender interest, and you get up to 7 dates. And then what happens next is once the time of your dates begin, you press start date, and it's a 3-minute date. And so each speed date's 3 minutes. You could also play like different games in the date itself. So like different icebreakers. So if you don't know what to say, you could just press the icebreakers and they'll ask different questions to break the ice. Once the date concludes, you'll say whether you like each other or not. And then the next date will begin. At the end of the event, you'll see if you have any matches. And if you do, you could then message them or video call them directly in that.
Okay, that's pretty cool. And for somebody who's like a geek, and this is what I found when I was on the dating apps, is that I didn't find a lot of geeks on the traditional dating apps, Zach, which is kind of why you're here, which is why we're doing this event, is because I think there are a lot more geeks out there than there are anybody else. I think that you could tell by the box office, the audience for video games and how big of a video game audience is, that people who consume pop culture are a huge part of our population, but I didn't find them to be on the dating apps. That is why we're doing this Geekscape, is to get y'all on the dating apps to try FilterOff. And for Valentine's, we just think it'd be fun. There's no strings attached. And on top of that, like, it's not like Zach and I can see your dates. Zach doesn't even see who you're matched with. It's part of an algorithm, right?
Mm-hmm. That's correct. Our algorithm handles all the dating, the matching, all of that. And it'll be cool. It's just your community.
And is the date recorded? Is anybody else seeing the date on the back end? Like, how private are these dates?
Yeah, are there toms? Tiny little circle?
So yeah, we definitely stay away from that. It's all like encrypted, in transit. We use Webrtc. It's just going from your mobile carrier as if you're just like FaceTiming on another sort of platform. I mean, with WhatsApp now, things are changing with Facebook's policy. So I was going to use WhatsApp, and I'm like, I really shouldn't use that. That's
it's interesting. It's in flux. It's interesting.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, now everyone's going to Signal. So
yeah, Katie just got kicked off a Parler.
I know. It's like, come on, I want to troll some trolls.
Yeah, I actually had a Parler account, and I didn't even think it was as funny as I thought it would be. I just kind of thought it was sad.
I saw someone they emailed me one, and I like a meme or something, and I was like, this doesn't even seem like, haha, that's funny. Like,
no,
it's just sad.
I checked out Gina Carano, obviously, because she's in the Mandalorian Geeks, and like, you know, that's pertinent to our discussion. And I didn't really like some of the responses she was getting as a female on the app. A lot of people on Parler were not happy with her working for Disney because they're mainstream media. So it's a no-win situation with Parler, and I think we're okay without it.
I think it's going to be okay because I don't think Parler's going to be around for much longer, according to a couple of things that came out today.
So we got some undercover geeks. Geekscape, if you're listening to this, you don't have to come out and say you're going to try this app out. You don't have to come out and say you want to be a part of this speed dating event. Just get the app, download it, sign up for it, and RSVP for the event. Again, like the RSVP code is Geeks Date TOO. Matt Kelly, you've been downloading the app. I see you actually disconnected from the show for a bit, so you can download the app. And
I couldn't waste the moment. I jumped in there. Also, there was a lot of questions that I had to answer to get the profile set up.
Well, there's barriers of entry. They don't want you to sign up.
No, it's very secure. It's way more secure than some of the other things I've signed up for dating wise.
Great. So that's really
good.
I
applaud Zach.
Matt, compared to other like online dating apps, how did you find the onboarding for FilterOff? Like how was
it's actually nice. It's very smooth. I like not just like digging for compliments here. I was like, oh wow, this is like just a very quick, simple, like you're not like sitting there just scrolling, waiting for emails to come in, waiting for like a bunch of different notifications, stuff. Like it's pretty efficient, but there's a lot of questions that they want to ask you up front. Which is good because I felt like I really was able to, in a few sentences, summarize who I am, and then we'll see what happens. We'll see. We'll test it.
Matt, did you finish the profile? Are you like? Do you have the profile finished on there?
I might be up there right now. Yeah.
Okay. Matt, download FilterOff so you can hang out with Matt.
Matt, can you try that out? Can you? I mean, what does Matt have to do now?
I'm not feeling comfortable with possibly having to Zoom call someone while I'm live on a podcast without their consent. I feel like there's a line there.
Fair. That is fair, but I kind of want to be like, can we collectively, as a group here, can we write at least one sentence in your bio?
Matt, when we're at Hooters next summer, can we be on Filter Out? Can we go on your date from the Hooters?
Oh my God, that'd be so good.
Unless you're the unsuspecting person that you're on a date with. I actually have a question for Zach because it's Geekscape. The ratio men to women might be pretty bad. And Bolt-T just picked this up in the comments. He says, the Geekscape community speed dating means Katie and Heidi each do like 53-minute dates each. What's to keep the
tough
female
conversation at the end of that?
What's to keep the female Geekscapists from being like totally ratioed out of this? Or, obviously this is an app that isn't just for heterosexual geeks. Like anybody can use it. But how do y'all deal with like that kind of ratio thing? So you don't end up with a bunch of dudes on the app.
Yeah. So, I mean, we do handle it in the events. Like our algorithm will, some people may get 7 dates. Some people may get 5 dates. It's really just based off of the ratio. We are adding a feature fairly soon to enforce some sort of ratio. And then if there's extra people, you're just adding to the wait list. I think for us, like user experience is super important. I'd rather someone be on a wait list and say, hey, we need more women to join versus them getting no dates at all. So that's coming out fairly soon, that feature. But yeah, I mean, we try our best and definitely invite your friends, your female friends. It's just going to be a fun time. And it's people that love the things you love. And I think that's what is super important when it comes to like trust and building connection.
Yeah, the whole point, Geekscapists, is that we do this speed dating event, and you're in this speed dating event with other like-minded geeks, and maybe you do use the icebreaker questions to progress the date. But at the end of the day, we're all Geekscapists, and you can at least talk to them about pop culture. Maybe they're into anime or video games or movies or TV. Maybe they are missing out on Comic-Con this year, but there should be enough to talk about. I find the Geekscapists to be pretty social as far as like the geek communities go. I think we got a pretty special batch. But as Zach said, let's try and keep the ratio 50-50. So if you're a dude and you're watching this or listening to this, see if any of your female friends want to go out and try this out as well. My worry, as someone who's been a geek with female friends before, is you have a crush on all of them. Why would we want to volunteer them up to filter off? We haven't even shot our shot yet. What are we doing? Can we kind of appeal to the altruistic nature of this Geekscapist and say, you know what? I know you've had a crush on her, but give her a chance at happiness. Maybe tell her to check out this app, download it, and be a part of this speed dating event. Or you got like 3 weeks to ask her out, or else she's going to be on this app. What do you think?
And you know what? This might be your shot to just be like, hey, not only have I like put myself in the ring with all these other awesome geeks, but I know I'm the best geek with the best knowledge who knows that Inara is not just a hooker on Firefly, like things like that. Like show your prowess on this app.
Yeah. All right, Geekscapers. Matt, you going to suggest this app to any of your female friends, or do you have crushes with every single one of them?
I mean, there's definitely ones that I feel safe suggesting it to. Mostly all of them that are single, because I'm not one of those geeks that you described, Jonathan. I understand that you let people do their thing. If they're interested, they'll come to you. You don't need to chase them down like a lion hunting a dinner, Jonathan.
Matt, that is the nicest way that you could have admitted that you were shut down by them years ago. And have given up. I think that it is admirable that you just admitted that you don't want me. Go out there and find something better. I'll still be here waiting with my Chucky doll.
Wait a minute. Is Matt the voice of Incelbot?
No. Matt's like the Geppetto for Incelbot. He created him. Katie, do you have female friends?
I do have.
Now I'm feeling like a creep. I'm like, you got any female friends?
Yeah, ladies over there.
You know any girls?
Yeah.
You have female friends. You might want to get on this geek dating thing. I'm just, Zach's a good friend. He's a new friend, and I don't want to be like, yeah, let's throw an event, and then 3 people show up. You know what I mean? Like, let's get some people up on this.
Here's the lovely thing. Matt and I both work for a company now that I think would be a fun pitch to send to them, because I know there's a lot of very geeky trivia people at our company that might be into, hanging out, trying something out, and people of all different gender fluidities as well.
I like that, Katie. Now we're talking. Let's get some people stacked up on this filter off thing so that February 13th isn't a bust, so that people are out there and they're like, hey, I met somebody. It was fun. Or you know what? You don't even have to like put the pressure on. Maybe you just have some great conversations. You follow up later, and you do just become friends. That's I think Zach's gonna build that into the back end. It's gonna be called the Matt Kelly, and it's gonna be the you can actually segue right into the friend zone, and that's just a new feature. Zach doesn't even know about it. It's such a new feature that they allow you. Did the date go unimpressively okay for you, ma'am?
Oh, okay. So with the Matt Kelly?
Yeah. You want to give him a Matt Kelly? And
that's that button. Yeah. The button. Yeah.
Who knows? You may need a ride for the airport or somebody to talk to you for a few hours when you break your heart. Here's a Matt Kelly. Now, why are you friends with me?
I don't know. The funniest thing is that there was an event with the Go game before this, and I literally chatted with Katie right before and was like, I'm just going to be the guinea pig for the dating jokes for an hour and a half. That's all he needs me on this show for.
No, Matt.
I know his game.
Matt, damn it. I kind of made you head of the Geekscape content.
Treat me with respect, damn it. I gave myself a title.
I kind of allowed you to give yourself a title here at Geekscape.
Just think, all of those people that have been here before me, none of them just thought to give themselves a title.
Oh, they did. And I gave them a new title called Fired.
So, Zach, what kind of title do you need on the Geekscape network? The local love locator?
Relationships manager.
Hashtag blocked, I think. I think he's done with us. Matt, I'm looking out for you, and Bold T knows I'm looking out for you because he says, Jonathan, you must know a talent agent that knows a lot of models. Push this event through their network. Tell them the Geekscape producer and head of content will be in the event. Matt, you might just be the shiny lure that we need to make this pop off.
There you go.
What do you think?
Yeah, it's both the title and the personality. Will really
the title, yeah.
All right, I have one more question for you, Zach, and then I'll leave you alone. I'm sorry. No,
it's all good.
I'm kidding. What is your Hooters order?
Definitely wings. Definitely. I mean, who doesn't get wings at Hooters?
That's what I've always heard is the best part there.
They're so good. Like you can't go wrong with the wings at Hooters.
Yeah, I feel like that is the one thing I've heard, and every time before I ate at Hooters, like all weekend, I kept saying that it feels like you reading the dirty magazines for the articles. I'm like, that's what that excuse feels like. I go for the chicken. I'm like, yeah, you read the articles for yeah.
You go for the food, of course. Why else would you go to Hooters?
I have no idea. But there was a gentleman, it was interesting, and I should have just told him to get on FilterOff and join us for the Geekscape event. But there was a gentleman that came in mask down, which I was not happy for. But he was just trying to talk to anybody, just make a conversation happen. And it was like, he was so desperate to talk to anyone. And like, this is what a great way to just be like, hey, there is no pressure on this. This is going to just be a 3-minute conversation for you to get to know somebody and not have to try and like buy the bartender a drink. Or say, have you ever been to Minnesota, to just anybody and like generally just shouting it out. And also he told us that he really loved draining the snake. So that was another thing that happened at that bar that doesn't need to happen. Like we can have beautiful conversations here on the FilterOff app. And
I was gonna say my friends, when we would go to watch like UFC fights at Hooters, whenever the waitress would come to the table, before she even got a word out, my friend George would just be like, "We get what the shtick is. We don't need the shtick. We're literally just here for the food and the UFC, so you can just be like normal with us." And she like the way the personality drops immediately, where they're like, "Hey, oh cool, yeah, what do you guys want?" Like they're like, "Oh, I don't have to be seductive for 45 minutes. Awesome.
That's nice. That's got to be great."
Yeah.
Derek actually has a Shane story. He says, Shane's a longtime Geekscapist. He says, I went to TGI Fridays with Shane once and it was rough. The way you're all talking about Hooters makes it sound so much better.
Was the rough part the TGI Fridays or the company that was with you?
That's what I'm wondering.
Yeah, I would not like to see Shane in a Hooters. I think that would be like throwing a rabid dog at like something. That'd be rough. But I will say this, if you're going to use this metaphor that TGI Fridays is inferior to a Hooters, I would say that FilterOff is the Hooters and another dating app is the TGI Fridays. So you don't want to eat at TGI Fridays, Geekscape. You want to be able to see who you're like asking out on a date. Like, how many times have you been on an online date and you show up and it's like, oh, that wasn't as advertised. You don't want to be a jerk, but like you would have saved a lot of trouble if you'd have just video chatted with the person first. You know what I mean?
And how great you also get a little glimpse inside their house, you know, just to see what the layout is.
Yeah.
I don't mean that in a creepy way. I mean that in a
look for how many windows and unlocked doors are in there.
Zach, would you suggest Matt use a backdrop before he goes on FilterOff, or maybe they're really obsessed with horror
this
movies?
is conversation.
I mean, they may say like, "What? Yeah, show me what's behind you," and like show off like your favorite memorabilia, right? Like,
yeah,
they may be
here's
curious.
my fucking Freddy doll. Please date me.
Yeah, which leads me to my idea for a dating app, which is based on smell. Thank God we're not doing that one on the February 13th, Matt. I think we're going to do just great.
Like, what do you like, smell of
it? Down here.
Here's a question coming in from the audience for you, Zach. Can you break a date off before 3 minutes? If the date is going terribly, can you just cut it off?
Yeah, you could theoretically end the call. Yeah.
But do you?
I wouldn't suggest it.
It's 3 minutes. How bad is it going to be?
Yeah. We felt like 3 minutes is a sweet spot.
I'm just saying, if the first thing they're like, so what's your Parlor account? Like, it's just.
Yeah.
What's the etiquette for leaving? Like, do you be like, oh my gosh, my sister's in a car accident, I have to go. Click.
Yeah.
Bad signal.
What's the etiquette?
But you can't wait 3 minutes. It has to be a life or death emergency if you can't wait 3 minutes.
Yeah.
So let's think of a few. Actually, Matt, if you don't mind, because you're being a prude and you don't want to go ahead and start swiping on the app now, which is exactly what I want you to do on the show.
Probably even share your screen.
I mean, Matt, like, come on. Like
let's see who's out there. Let's see what the pool is.
Here's a cool one. Quinton from our audience says, I just signed up and he got one. So Matt, he signed up after you. He signed up for FilterOff after you. And he's already got himself
Listen, I'm doing head of content shit right now. I can't be playing around on a cell phone.
Sir,
Matt,
we are
I'm
begging you to do so.
I'm giving you the permission, Matt. As somebody who didn't give you your fake title, I'm giving you the permission right now to do so. But that being said, Matt, we don't want to just throw you to the wolves untrained. Bolt T says, can we see an example of how this works? Let's see Matt small talk with Katie for 3 minutes. Katie, you are a master of improvisation. Let's say that you just matched with Matt. I'll be silent. Zach can moderate if you'd like. But you've just matched with Matt. And let's try a 3-minute date with Matt. Matt, we got to train you up, all right?
Oh,
right.
this for 3
We
minutes.
got to brush off the dust, okay, pal? Here we go.
All right, here we go. Hey, nice
Hi.
shirt. I
Thank
love
you
that
very much.
shirt.
This
Can you
is
tell
what
me
I wear
about
on,
where you...
This is what I wear on dates a lot.
Oh,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like your bookshelf. What books do you have in there?
oh, I don't read. Those are all DVDs.
Oh, interesting. Okay, we're off to a great start. What kind of DVDs?
A little bit of everything, honestly. There's some horror, a little bit of comedy.
Sister's calling
Oh
right now.
no! I didn't get to show off my cacti.
Wait, what? Is it really a cactus tie?
Yeah.
That brought me back.
Oh,
Oh my god, that's
okay.
the worst pun in the world, but I love it.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so when it's going well, do they just like make out with the camera? Like, how do we like?
How do we get first dates?
And like, is it location based as well, Zach? I have so many questions. Sorry to break our improv date, but I already left for my sister's accident. Sorry, it's backwards on my screen, but
That
Zach,
was a very successful date.
He says, you know what? You only made it to 40 seconds. Matt, if the date is successful, I would say you'd probably only make it to 40 seconds. Oh,
Yeah.
hey.
So
But that's when you request like another, like you say, oh, I liked them at the end of the date, and then that's when the second date gets set up, right?
Yeah, I mean, when you like each other and it's a match, at the end of the event, you could see. And then you can hop back on video chat as long as you'd like without like exchanging personal info.
Oh,
Like, while
so
on that.
the date is only limited for 3 minutes when you're introducing yourself to somebody, and then once you match, if you like each other, you can talk for as long as you want.
Yeah, as long as you like.
That
sounds awesome.
That sounds better than Zoom.
Geekscape is watching this, being like, "It sounds better than this podcast."
Hey, I mean,
Chris
that's
Favalio
fair.
says, "You know what? I don't read is a great icebreaker."
Right? Like immediate turn on, Matt. I just want to put that out there.
Yeah, Derek says, "I died at all. I don't read." Those are DVDs. They're not even Blu-rays. They're things that haven't been published on Blu-ray. They are so obscure. Matt,
Put it in the DVD player.
Matt, you got like 3 weeks to do a Rocky training montage on this. I think you can do it. I believe in you. You are the self-proclaimed head of content here on Geekscape. I think that I think you're gonna do great February 13th. And you know what? Quinton's already way ahead of you. He got one date and he signed up for the app like 10 seconds ago. So
That's awesome. I love how quickly that happens. Zach, if you had any advice for Matt for his like montage of date training, what does he have to do to get ready? Like, what's your pointers?
Yeah, I would say, I think actually his background's pretty cool. It like does allow for like cool questions, like what is behind it? And it's like, oh, check out this DVD. Have you seen? And you're all like-minded. Like you're all interested in similar things. It's gonna be, so that's the beauty of this. And just be curious, right? Like you don't have to just keep talking the whole time. You could just be like, hey, what is your favorite movie? What is your favorite comic? When have you been to Comic-Con? So like, what did you dress up as? Maybe you could be dressed up, and that would
Matt, you have to dress up for the date with Geekscape. You have like some full-on cosplay. Do Gambit. I don't know, like do something, but full hog.
Katie, he put on a tie just for the podcast. Let's not break
You put on a tie for
right?
the game.
You're
No, I put it back on. I took it off earlier, and then I was like, you know what? I should classy this up.
Katie, let's not overdip the Oreo, okay? It might just get soggy and fall apart. Like, let's be careful with Matt. He's gentle, but I will tell you, Matt, that we're checking back in with Quinton Bailey on the in the comments, and he's now got 3 freaking dates set up. through FilterOff, and he's
Amazing.
only been using it for the length of this podcast. So in like roughly 30 minutes, Quinton's got 3 people on FilterOff. So Geekscape, you know the mission. Go and download FilterOff, and you don't have to wait until the Geekscape event on February 13th to be a part of it. But you will see the Geekscape event for FilterOff in the menu as you search for events. It's February 13th. It's a day before Valentine. It's a Saturday. We're in a pandemic. What are you doing? You should be quarantining. And if you do want to RSVP, the little code to get you in is GeeksDate2. That's TOO, all one word. And Quinton says, you know what? Those 3 dates came not even in 10 minutes.
Yeah, that's really quick. That's awesome.
It's pretty awesome. Bolt T on YouTube asks, Zach, how many speed dates have you been on?
That's a great question.
Ooh.
As in during this pandemic, I've gone on a lot. Like using our app, I go on the events, and yeah, it's like, why wouldn't I? I am single, so.
Do you drop that you created the app as one of your icebreakers?
Are you picking off the company beer, pal?
I really want to keep it.
You're like, oh, you enjoying this? I made it.
Well, what's funny is they'll ask, like, how did you hear about it? I'm like, oh, I heard about like the New York Times or something.
I
like
love it. You're like like you're giving yourself promo, but like through it and like not even intentionally. Like this is just I love that.
Exactly.
Do you like this massive house? It's mine.
My massive apartment. And then, but the funny thing is, if we match, I've had funny stories where I was speaking to this girl after we matched, and we were chatting through FilterOff on the video, and she was like, yeah, I heard the guy who created it's Jewish. I was like, oh, really? That's super interesting. Do you know his name? And she's like, I don't. I was like, you should Google it. And then she Googles it, found her, and then my photo comes up on Google, and she like freaks out. And that felt kind of good.
That's awesome. Oh my God.
Flexed on a date, man.
That's awesome. Did you Google it? You should Google it. It's just your face.
Okay. Quinton Bailey is trying to RSVP, and he says Geeks Date 2 does not work, but I think the date and the 2 have to be capitalized. So let's try Geeks.
It auto caps. I can take a look in the back end. It auto caps.
And Geeks, we're going to do Geekscape if you're on Facebook, and obviously on our socials, Instagram and Twitter. We're going to be promoting this for a couple weeks. And all that information to get you signed up.
Geeks love to.
Yeah. Oh, it's Geeks love to. Okay.
Geeks love to.
Yeah. Let me fix that, Geekscapists.
Well, you're going to have to go back and edit that the entire way.
We're good. You know what? It's only for the hardcore Geekscapists who made it this long in the episode. They're the only ones that get to love.
And hear my creaky ass chair. Goodness, do you hear that? Hope not.
I could also change it if that would be easier for you to Geeks Date 2. Okay.
No, Geeks love too. I think we're going to escalate this thing to a level of love. Matt Kelly, are you RSVPing for our event at the moment?
Just did.
Nice. Wow. That's awesome. That's awesome.
I'll be there.
Matt, how many dates do you have set up?
I'm podcasting right now.
This guy. I love it. That's awesome. So, are you, Zach? Are you going to continue doing like the app, like the speed dating things, and like just meeting a ton of new people and just making them Google you?
No, I mean I would love to meet someone. So I'm actually on the events to meet someone, and I've gone on these video dates, and then a few dates in, you realize like, hey, it's not fit, but it's cool to just meet tons of people, and we run like events. Global events, local events. So this event is like a community-based event, and that's what it's all about. It's like that people can create their own events on FilterOff and find love that are like-minded singles.
That's wonderful. And it's not just
he has an idea. Zach, to help Matt on the platform, can you make him the head of content for FilterOff?
I got you. Wait, can we write the job responsibilities? So what are your role?
And it's all podcasting related?
Yeah, it's just all podcasts. Do you need a FilterOff podcast? I got you.
Tips and tricks to date, Matt?
I think what you need is a muzzle there on the.
He's a content creator now. Okay, good.
Katie, you were going to ask a question. I'm sorry.
Oh, I forget it. No, I was going to ask a question. It was something to Zach, but I don't remember, and I'm so sorry.
He'll come back.
Geekscape is for sure. This is what I want you to do. February 13th, we got this event. You go search on the marketplace right now on your phone. Download FilterOff. You've seen that Quinton has had a success with it, and you download FilterOff and then RSVP for our event February 13th. Use that RSVP code GeeksLoveTOO and get yourself scheduled for it. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I think it's gonna be fun. Matt, are you excited about it? Honestly, Matt, are you excited about it, or does it give you anxiety?
Can it be both?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it oftentimes is both, buddy.
Yeah.
I think it is. You can always say, I know the founder of the app.
There you
can
go.
drop that one. You can drop that one.
You should have some kind of Google search.
My plan is to not talk about myself this much. I'm gonna kind of let them lead the conversation.
If you don't talk about yourself at all, that kind of makes the conveation weird. Because
it's only 3 minutes. Interesting is being interested is interesting. That's always been my motto.
How's that worked out for you?
13 years single, so great.
Nice.
Oh,
I don't remember my original question, but I do remember a question for you, Zach. What kind of geeky things are you super into?
I love Star Wars. I love Star Wars theory. Like, I'll just go on that YouTube channel and just watch episode after episode. The other day, I watched a canon Star Wars history for 1 hour, and it was really good.
It just takes you canonically through everything. It's like
through the comics, everything.
Zach,
everything.
Did you ever see the remakes of the original movies that were made by fans just doing 30 seconds a piece for like the entire movie? Those are awesome.
So
They're so good.
And some of the fans have made like amazing movies too. And they're just like, wow, the production quality, even the acting, it's like, wow, that's really cool.
Do you own a lightsaber or anything?
No, nothing. When I was younger, I used to fight all the time with my lightsaber.
Yeah, we're adults now. Why would you do that? We're grown ups.
Yeah, why would you have
you
one mounted on a wall?
You'd be like some kind of a freaking loser if you had a lightsaber. I mean, why would you own a lightsaber? You're some kind of nerd. I would. Geekscape audio listeners, I hold up my Kylo Ren lightsaber.
Zach, have you ever seen this?
Wow, I have not. That looks. What is that about?
John, do you want to answer this one since you're in it?
That is the documentary by our friend Alexander Philippe. It's called The People versus George Lucas. It's one of his first feature-length documentaries, and I am in it talking about the fans turning on George Lucas. We premiered it at South by Southwest, I believe, in 2010. And Geekscape, as you know, that we followed it up with the Geekscape co-produced Dock of the Dead, which also premiered at South by Southwest in 2014, and I'm also in that one. But I don't have a whole lot other geek stuff to talk about that's pertinent to the movies Alexander makes now, so you're not going to see me in any more Alexander Philippe movies. I've aged out of it.
Horror movie stuff. I want to hit him up. Be like, yo, man.
Matt, you were just in a documentary. You were in the documentary about the Monster Squad.
Yeah, Wolfman's got nards.
Yeah.
Geekscape we love making documentary films around here and helping people make them. It'll be fun. Let's see. Quentin Bailey says, Kid and Candy Store. There are a ton of other events on here as well. Different types, by the way. Christians, woot woot. So our good friend Quentin Bailey is actually going through FilterOff right now, Geekscape is, and he's finding all sorts of different events for not just the Geekscape event on the 13th, but he's finding a bunch of stuff that is for different demographics. What do you say what do you see, Zach, on the back end? Like when you see these events get generated, what are some of the more popular demographics that you see on FilterOff?
Yeah, so we have a lot of Jewish communities. So religious communities, so different types of ethnic communities, like we'll do Black singles events. We also have events that are, these like sort of Facebook sort of communities. Like we've had vegan singles events, sort of about like Facebook groups. We had, so it's all sorts. We have, let's see. I don't know what I can say on here of what's appropriate or not.
You can say, if you're talking about curse words, you could do it.
Like a swingers event, a swingers event someone created. They run like a swingers meetup, a BBW event someone created. So all sorts. And we're actually, our next big feature launch we're focusing on is self-service events. So like within the app, any of our community can create the event within the app, and it'll be approved. Like right now, it's a little bit longer. You have to fill out a form, and then it'll just be much easier going forward. And you could contact organizers going forward. It's just gonna be a much newer UI with like a great experience to create events.
Maybe we partner and do a Hooters fan event.
That sounds great.
And the truth is, Zach, that I imagine that the pandemic, as bad as it was for a lot of people, helped people gravitate towards FilterOff. Did you see the numbers go up as people weren't able to actually go out and date in person, or really vet what the other person was like in person, like you would on a video app? Did you see the numbers go up?
Yeah, I mean, it shot up. Like I said, we got out beta right before the pandemic. Wow. So it was good timing. And then we got like crazy coverage, like BBC, New York Times, and that helped a lot. And people are just now so much more open to jumping on a video call. They're doing it at work, like Zoom. So they're just more comfortable. And I think like people are more disconnected now than ever, and they're more willing to let's just connect in any way. So.
And Andy Rattinger is one of my success stories. He's a good friend of mine. He's not my success story. He did it himself. But Andy met his girlfriend on an app in the middle of the pandemic. So he says people should go for it. And I actually think, Andy, if I can share, and I won't ask, but I'll do it anyway. Andy had one of the most geekiest but cool dating ideas, socially distanced dating ideas that I've ever heard of. He had met somebody on a dating app, and they agreed to go on a date over Zoom. They both ordered the same Lego set, and then over Zoom built it together.
I love that.
It was when cool. Andy said that, I was like, how do I ever have a girlfriend? Thank goodness I look like Ray Romano, or else I'd never meet a girl, because I don't think of creative things like that. Heidi's like, hey, what do you want to do tonight? I'm like, nothing creative. I'll sit around and stare at a wall. Andy actually has personality, and that was so awesome when I heard it. And Geekscape, I can start right here with FilterOff. I want you to get on that. Bolt TS, Zach, have you raised or are raising money for this app? I don't know how the whole VC thing works. I'm not some app dude. But how was it putting this app together? Did people think you were crazy? Did people say, hey, there's already apps out there? What's the story on this thing?
Almost everyone was like, no one's going to use a video dating app.
You were like, they will once I release this pandemic.
Yeah.
We're the cause of it. Got it.
Once I open this file in Times Square. Yeah, he says, you think? And he bites into a bat.
My crystal ball. All right, we need to launch this.
So how did you start putting it together? If everybody thought you were crazy, how did you start putting it together?
I mean, I just felt it was the best way to date. So my co-founder and I teamed up. We were good friends, and we're like, let's go for it, and let's just have fun. Let's see where it goes. Maybe we'll find me a wife. Well, let's start with a girlfriend. But yeah, I mean, that's what we did, and we just went for it.
Fiance, this is
Matt, that's an important note. Let's write that one down.
Girlfriend before wife, got it.
From before a wife.
Great footnote.
Yeah.
I've seen 90 Day Fiance, and they say otherwise. You can go straight to wife if you want.
That's a different app that we're starting on, and that one's just, you like it, you can have it.
Even if you don't like it that much, you can still have it.
It's a real quick one. All right. Well, Geekscapists, you have your mission. You know what to do. You're going to go to your app store. You're going to get FilterOff, and you're going to RSVP for our event on February 13th. You're going to use the RSVP code GeeksLove2, all one word, and you're going to get in there and you're going to mingle on February 13th. You don't have to wait, though. You can start doing it right now. Quinton Bailey is now engaged, and he's had the app for
basically
40 minutes, and he now has 3 women that don't know that he's dating all 3 of them. I mean, he's using it. He's using it the way Zach he designed it, man. He's like,
I do love that he's kind of gone silent, where it's like, oh, he's like legit, like on a date right now, probably.
Yeah, he is literally video chatting with someone as we speak.
Yeah, he's raced to a bunch of 3-minute dates so far, and he's got several bases in. And Geekscape, as you can too. Let's try it out. Zach, thanks for coming on the show, dude.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's a lot of fun.
It's a wild ride.
Definitely wild, definitely different.
Nothing like the New York Times interview at all? Or
It's
It's
just
a
bring
little
up
bit
Hooters.
more, yeah.
Where do we rank?
Hooters,
Where
Star
do we rank?
Wars.
We rank okay in the national coverage
Yeah.
spotlight. We were all right. Very professional, I'm sure.
You're up there, yeah.
Yes, thanks for joining us on the Hooters podcast.
Coming to Geekscape in 2021.
Yeah, we have an update from Andy Rattinger. Quinton just moved to Italy with a couple of ladies. FilterOff works for him. It can work for you too. All right, Geekscape is one thing that you can also do while you're online and you got your phone and you're listening to the podcast is you can hit the share button. You can tell your friends about us. You can tell them to subscribe to Geekscape. We got tons of stuff coming on. We've got people who want to be on the show. And I just thought Zach was a cool dude and he had a cool idea and Valentine's was coming up. It'd be a perfect opportunity to bring him on and get y'all out there and engaged. And Matt's already thrown himself in there. I'm excited to see what comes of it. We will have updates on the show, and we may have updates on some of the other shows on the Geekscape network. We've added a few just in the last 2 weeks. What are some of the newest shows on the Geekscape network, Matt? We have a brand new comedy show, don't we?
Well, yeah, literally as we were recording, episode 1 just dropped of I Love Trash with Marie Maloney, featuring the head of content at Geekscape, Matt Kelly, is the guest, talking about The Princess Switched 2, Switched Again. But strap in for many other great discussions of reality television and such with the hilarious comedian out of Chicago, Marie Maloney.
And Geekscape, I know that the Mandalorian just ended and we have WandaVision coming up in a week or so. You definitely want to subscribe to Bingetown TV because they talk about all of the TV shows that I don't necessarily have the ability to cover here on Geekscape. I kind of do like the inch thick, mile wide approach to being a geek, and they go in depth on things. Like they just finished up the Mandalorian. They're probably going to throw out WandaVision and get y'all.
Yeah, they're doing. So WandaVision's going to be the main new show that they talk about. They also do a series called Rooks and Vets, where it's 2 people who are experts on the show and 2 people who've never watched the show, and it's usually a classic geeky show. So this month, their Rooks and Vets is going to be for The Magicians season 5, as it's about to drop on Netflix this week.
Cool.
So they're always trying to make sure that's something that everybody has easy access to. John, I have a quick pitch for you right now on the air.
Okay.
Sure.
Why not?
We're doing this event on the 13th. I say that any Geekscapist that's involved with it lets you know that they're going to be a part of it, and we do a live podcast recap immediately after the event's over.
Sure, but what if the dates are successful and you don't immediately want to start podcasting because you want to follow up with your date?
John. I'm always willing to podcast before a video.
I would love that. Now, Geekscape, keep in mind that your dates are anonymous. FilterOff does have the algorithm does keep you anonymous when you do go on these dates, and you only really reveal yourself to the person you're in the chat with. But if you Geekscapists want to go on these dates, I think that would be great for all of you. Go ahead and
even name the episode.
Yeah, go ahead and let us know, and we can throw up an episode following for Valentine's called Updates, and we catch up with all of you who've used FilterOff. That is, if Quinton is not already married and in Italy or whatever the heck he's doing. But yeah, I think that's a great idea, Matt. Thank you. You've definitely earned the title of head of content. I would love to have a follow-up episode with whoever would like to come forward and let us know how FilterOff, how that fun event was. We're not done having some great events planned for y'all. We got some cool stuff going into 2021. I always called it the road to Comic-Con when it was this spring. We don't know if Comic-Con is happening in San Diego this year, but we're going to go for it and try some things out. And obviously, Katie and I have designs to do live shows and tons of stuff Geekscape is going to be a part of. We had a lot of success with our live streams in 2020, and we're going to be bringing those back as well. So there's a lot of cool stuff on the network. Share it with your friends. Subscribe to whatever shows you want. We got tons coming out. And it's kind of an exciting time to be a Geekscapist. Anything else to add, Katie, Matt, or Zach?
info@weknowpodcasting.com if you want to start a podcast or you just want some people who know podcasting to listen to your content and let you know what you could do to tighten it up. info@weknowpodcasting.com.
Okay, I may have to look into that for my own sake. Geekscape, we love you. For Katie, for Matt, for Zach, enjoy Filter Off. See you on February 13th. And as I say after every show, I love you and